skal starte med at høre lidt om det redesignede Avid-system, så skal vi ikke bare sige, at
jeg synes, vi giver ordet til Martin.
Ja, lige præcis. Lad os gøre det. Ja. Super.
Hello, this is Martin Foan from Avid. I'm a solution specialist for video products. I'm here to talk to you about the newly upcoming release of Media Composer 2019 that was launched at NAB. But before I reveal the new Media Composer, I just want to take everybody back to 1989 when Bill Warner, the founder of Avid, launched the first Avid One Media Composer. And the reason I'm doing this is because for many years, through every release of Media Composer, you know, the fundamental working and core components of Media Composer haven't changed. Even though we've gone through many iterations of Media Composer, the way Media Composer works is still the same. With that, I would like to introduce the new Media Composer 2019. So as you can see, it's got a fresh, new, modern look. It's got an all new UI and UX. That's really been reimagined for the up and coming next generation of editors. You know, the new, fresh people coming through from media schools and from editing schools who maybe are used to a more modern approach. And the new UI, the new design, does make editing faster. It's more approachable, allows more creativity. And the design was really driven by our Avid Customer Association users, where they voted for and had next-gen focus groups and voted for the key features and key designs of Media Composer 2019. So let's take a closer look at the new Media Composer 2019 UI. We now have a new method of containerizing our panels, so they're no longer floating around. These panels can be docked, and they will scale and adapt to the size that you drag them out to. But if you still like the old way of having floating panels, you can undock them. That's no problem. Inside the bin containers, we can have a map view of our media, which allows us to, much like a game, navigate the media inside a bin. And we can also have better workspace controls with simple one-click button presses to get to our editing workspace or our color workspace or our audio workspace or our effects workspace. So that's a closer look at the fresh new UI. But it's not all about the UI. So yes, we have redesigned the user experience, but Media Composer 2019 is all about role-based customization. I'll talk a bit later about Media Composer Enterprise, where we can customize Media Composer for the job it needs to do. But we also have a next generation media engine. So we can now do distributed processing, 32-bit color pipeline, and have native OP1A support. And also with our finishing and delivering capabilities, we now have OTT workflows for content delivery. So let's take another look at the next generation Avid Media Engine. So this is a dedicated render farm or transcode farm which enables the more intensive GPU tasks or CPU tasks to be offloaded to a worker node, which will obviously speed up processing time. So if you can imagine, you could have 2, 3 or a cluster of worker nodes in your system, then you can pass off any render job to those worker nodes, and they'll go through them one by one and speed up that processing time. So that's distributed processing and distributed rendering. We also have native OP1A support inside Media Composer now. So the first step with OP1A support is you can now create OP1A media. You can import or ingest OP1 media, and you can mix down and do a transcode to OP1 media as well. And we also have better finishing tools with inside Media Composer 2019. We now have full support for 32-bit full float pipeline. We can decode 16-bit OP and EXR sequences so you can browse for a sequence and add those to your timeline through AMA linking. We have full support for ACES color workflow. So ACES is the Academy color encoding system, and that really depicts that the color space is as wide as you can imagine it to be. We can also create simple IMF packages directly from Media Composer now for delivery to OTT platforms. And with that, we are now a member of the Netflix Post-Technology Alliance, which will ensure that Media Composer will meet the rigorous standards that Netflix demand for OTT delivery. We've also done some updates and improvements around DPX files, so you can now work up to 10 times faster than before with DPX files. And some future updates coming towards the end of the year with Media Composer is that we'll also be able to encode EXR, and we'll have some supplemental additions to the IMF package creation. So with our finishing delivery, our HDR and full color precision 32-bit full pipeline is now there. We can decode 16-bit open EXR, as I said. We have full support of ACES color workflow, and we can create and read IMF packages for OTT specifications. We can even create 8K and 16K projects inside Media Composer. Something that's complementary with Media Composer and has been around for a little while now, but is worth mentioning again, is that Media Composer can be virtualized. So this enables Media Composer to run in a virtual machine. It's certified for deployment either on-premise or in a private data center, and because it's virtualized, it can be accessed remotely via a Teradici or similar PC over IP client, and that can be accessed via a laptop, and all you're doing is accessing the host machine and streaming the pictures back to the client, so that you could be either on-prem or remote, sitting on a laptop, but have access to a full Media Composer. Something else that was announced at NAB 2019 is Media Composer Enterprise. So this allows us to customize Media Composer for the role that it is doing, or for the ability of the user. So for example, if you're a logger, you don't need to have any output formats or export options. So we can turn those on or off. So this is all about, as I said, customizing Media Composer for the role or the ability of the user. As I said, with an editor, we can limit the format that they are working with, because they only want to work in one format, so why have all the other options? For an assistant, we can allow them to turn projects on or off, so they can add projects or create projects or not. For loggers, as I said, if all they're doing is really just logging media, then they don't need to export any media, so we can turn the output options on and off. And for producers, if all they're doing is creating the project but nothing else, then of course we can turn other options off or on for the producer as well. So that's Media Composer Enterprise. And thank you for listening.
Yes, det var jo en udmærket gennemgang. Har du noget, du lige vil runde af på det, som der blev snakket fra?
Ikke udover, at jeg vil sige, at vi er utrolig spændt på reaktionerne.
Ja.
Vi er utrolig spændt på, hvordan vores kunder modtager det her, fordi man netop er inde og pille ved noget af det, som folk de arbejder med.
Knappen er ikke der, hvor det plejer at være.
Nej, og spørgsmålet er, om det bliver 5 minutters brok, eller om det bliver lidt længere, men selvfølgelig skal man altid vende sig til noget nyt.
Ja. Du nævnte lige, der var også nogle nye, bedre renderingstider på nogle af tingene.
Det er ikke kun på overfladen, at David har været på arbejde. Der er også sket nogle ting, under motorhjelmen. Og der er nogle eksporttider på nogle codecs og nogle andre ting, som er væsentligt forbedret. Og lidt afhængig af, i hvilke sammenhæng og hvilke codecs man arbejder med, så tror jeg ret hurtigt, man vil finde ud af, at deres processeringstider er blevet meget bedre. Så.
Og det er noget, vi alle sammen har glæde af i hverdagen. Altså, når tingene går hurtigere, vi skal
aflevere hurtigere og hurtigere.
Vi kommer hurtigere hjem.
Ja, sådan. Så.